What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. What a humiliating week for Disney. Things are a change in there, but their check, as of today, recently cleared with Hulu, so now they can complete that merger. So now we can expect to see the Disney and Hulu app merge into one, which seems fine to me. They've all been owned by the same person for as long as I can remember anyway. But interestingly, in a little footnote, in a little, oh, by the way, Disney has abandoned and refused to continue to report on the earnings of the Marvels, as it is a national embarrassment for them. And the hostile takeover got yet another ally in the fight against woke Disney. This is getting pretty spicy, pretty interesting. By the way, I'm reminding people all week because now it's Christmas shopping time. Promo code BESTGIFT over at Coffee Brand Coffee. Get your Coffee Brand Coffee gift box today. You can choose from one of our 2 pre-made gift boxes or use our custom gift box builder to make even a gift that, let's face it, gift boxes don't always feel that personal. Now you can make it feel perfectly personal by picking out the exact items that they would like. We have like a dozen different candies and nut options. We have real cacao cocos, 15 organic teas, 20 or 30 different coffees. You can really put together something awesome for someone you love. And promo code BESTGIFT will get you 10% off today. Link in the description. Let's start with this. Disney gives up on the Marvels. Disney seems to have given up hope that the Marvels will improve on its dismal box office performance. The Mouse House, which owns Marvel Studios, announced it will no longer be reporting on the movie's global box office takings. Because every time they do, it's a hilarious embarrassment. It's an absolute drubbing. This movie is going to lose $300 million. It's going to go down as one of the top 5 biggest box office tanks in history, and probably one of the top 3 box office tanks in Disney history. With the Marvel's box office now winding down, we will stop reporting weekend of international global grosses. This title Disney announced Sunday per Variety. The female-led film follows Captain Marvel and sees Brie Larson as one of the strongest superheroes in the MCU. By Marvel standards, the Marvels debuted with a paltry $46.1 million its opening weekend, though it was projected to make $60. The Marvels has now fallen to 11th place on the box office chart. So far has made a little more than $80 million in the US. It didn't even break $100 million in the United States. At the global box office, it made $116 million, under $200 million. Remember, this movie cost $300 to make. It will remain in theaters, but Disney announced it indicates it does not expect the Marvels to experience a box office surge over the holidays. The movie also had the misfortune of being the first Marvel movie to not make more than $100 million at the domestic box office, and may become the lowest earning Marvel film of all time. The honor previously went to 2008's Incredible Hulk. It's going to make less than Incredible Hulk, which came out 15 years ago. Of course, Disney CEO Bob Iger addressed the Marvel's poor performance and blamed the coup for its misfortunes. It was filmed during the coup, Iger said. There wasn't much supervision on set. So, way to throw that POC director under the bus, where we have executives that are really looking over what's being done day after day. He also brought up the fact, as one of the most successful movie brands of all time, Marvel films have made a sum of $29.8 billion across the world, and there's high pressure for titles to perform well. We got to the point where a film doesn't do $1 billion. We're disappointed, Iger said. That's an unbelievably high standard. I think we have to get more realistic. Well, I would honestly say that it's not. I mean, I agree with that. You can't. That's an impossible standard to maintain. But then you can't be spending $300 million on every movie. You know, the Marvels also stars Teyonah Parris as Monica Rambeau. No one cares. AKA Photon, also no one cares. Iman Vellani, Kamala Khan, no one cares. AKA Miss Marvel, also no one cares. So far, it has made more than $197 million internationally and currently sitting at 23rd most profitable movie in the world this year. It is not profitable. You mean grossing? You mean gross? That's the gross earnings. And this is a movie that had a $300 million budget, and at minimum they spent $100 million advertising. Normally you double that. That means they're going to lose $200 to $300 million on this film. And I don't even think the movie was quote unquote that bad. It was bad. Sure. It was definitely bad, but it wasn't like lose $300 million bad. It was, break even bad, probably. The thing is, they keep trying to blame it. It's quote unquote superhero fatigue. Superhero fatigue. But it's not superhero fatigue. It's just bad movie fatigue. I've talked about this time and time again. For two people, for like a family of four to go to the movies, unless you're going out of your ways to go on a budget, right? Everyone sneaks a snack in. You go during matinee. Let's say a normal showtime, and you get a bucket of popcorn, a couple drinks for your kids. It's $100 for a family of four to go to the theater. All right. Yes, you can sneak waters and snacks in. Yes, you could go to a matinee and get it done for $40. Fine. Okay. But I'm talking about, a normal, hey, it's Friday night, we're going to go to the movies kind of thing. Now, another activist investor urges Disney to add Trian's Nelson Peltz to board. Another person now has entered. Nelson Peltz fight for Disney board seats, get new ally in investment firm and Cora Holdings. The boutique firm issued a public letter supporting the activist investors' efforts. Now, if you've been following this, Nelson Peltz has been vying for board seats because he thinks that Disney has spent too much time diving into politics and all this other woke crap and isn't making enough money. The way he can change this is by purchasing enough shares or representing enough shares as an agency or as somebody who represents this many investors to essentially force his way onto the board. With each passing week, he's getting more people who also represent large swaths of people to support him. The boutique investment firm, which typically focuses on family wealth and asset management, penned a letter to fellow Disney shareholders supporting Peltz and his firm Trian Fund Management in his quest to access the boardroom. Quote, "We believe Disney is saying the right things about restructuring and transforming the enterprise," and Cora Holdings Group Chairman and CEO Frederick DeSanto and James Chadwick wrote in a letter dated Tuesday. Nonetheless, the addition of a shareholder representative or investor designated directors to the board can only help ensure that these efforts are carried out in the most effective way. Hoping to avert an election contest following a year of distractions and disappointing performance, the letter called for shareholders to encourage the board to pursue viable compromise with Peltz and Trian, the letter said. Disney last week roundly rebuffed Peltz's latest effort to obtain board seats for Trian, maintaining that the effort is rooted in the former Marvel Entertainment chairman Ike Perlmutter's long-standing, quote, personal agenda against Disney CEO Bob Iger. Perlmutter has now joined his considerable stake in Disney stock, about 25 million shares, with Trian Holdings of 8 million shares in the campaign to place Peltz and allies on the board. Peltz renewed his fight with Disney after the company's quarterly results were released last month, after backing off back in February, when Iger announced sweeping cuts of $3 billion, including 7,000 layoffs at the House of Mouse. Despite a fiscal fourth quarter report that shows gains at Disney Plus, revenue growth of 5%, and earnings shares that topped Wall Street expectations, Peltz and Trian found continued fault with Iger's leadership and the languishing Disney stock price. And Cora, which has previously joined other activist campaigns, have now joined the fight, even though it did not disclose how much Disney stock it actually holds. While a degree of shareholder-driven change is certainly warranted at Disney's boardroom following an extended period of absent-minded governance, ineffective succession planning, talking about Bob Iger, polarizing actions, talking about the politics, and sustained value destruction, talking about the shareholder price or the stock price. The firm's letter states, many of Disney's current directors and executives bear responsibility for lapses that have undermined the company's positioning in the exceedingly competitive and ever-changing entertainment world. Quote, while it has been argued that challenges lately stem from the tenure of Bob Chapek, the board was in the driver's seat before, during, and after that time. It continues, the upshot is that Disney shareholders have incurred meaningful losses. The company has dramatically underperformed the S&P 500 Media and Entertainment Index, the letter states, meaning it's underperformed other people in that same space. It also accuses the board of overseeing a deterioration of what used to be the most unifying brand in the world by allowing Disney to devote shareholders' resources to a number of politicized initiatives. It does not specify what those initiatives are, but the implicit suggestion is that Disney's fight with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. The company is increasingly dividing rather than delighting a growing number of consumers, the letter states, citing a recent poll that found Disney is the 5th most polarizing brand in the world, right behind the disgraced and collapsed crypto exchange FTX. I mean, who can argue with that? You know, I can't deny that, you know. And I mean, you look at Disney stock today, down again. This week, down. It was on a run for the last 30 days, but over the last 5 days, including a stark drop today, probably because these more and more people are trying to force their way on the board. So, you know, and by the way, these people who own all these shares, they could go ahead and sell them. That's the threat, right? You represent millions and millions and millions and millions of shares. If they sell them, the price will tank. So it's going to be interesting. Pretty interesting. Keep your eye on this. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.